You think she remembers the man who talks the most, texts the fastest, and tries the hardest to impress her, but she remembers the man who makes her feel the truth of his presence without begging for her attention. The three words she can't forget are not dramatic. They are not poetic. They are not some slick line you throw at her to hack her emotions. They are simple. Take your time. And before you go any further, subscribe if you're tired of being fed fantasy when what you really need is truth. Because if you don't get reminders like this, the world will train you to abandon yourself just to feel chosen for 5 minutes. Take your time. Three words. That's it. But here's what it really means. It does not mean you become passive. It does not mean you play games. It does not mean you pretend not to care. It means you stop performing urgency just because you're afraid of losing someone you barely know. It means you stop trying to force connection before trust has earned the right to exist. It means you stop handing out your peace like it's cheap. That's what those three words carry: calm, standards, gravity. Most men completely misunderstand attraction. They think being unforgettable is about saying more, doing more, proving more. More compliments, more availability, more explanations, more reassurance, more pursuit. They think if they can just be intense enough, attentive enough, useful enough, then she will finally see their value. But that mindset is already losing. Why? Because when your energy says, please choose me, your words don't matter. She doesn't hear confidence. She hears hunger. She hears pressure. She hears a man who has already decided her attention means more than his own self-respect. That's the misconception. The hard truth is this: what stays in a woman's mind is not your effort alone. It's your emotional position. It's whether your energy felt clean or needy, grounded or restless, present or grasping. You can say all the right words from the wrong place and still create the wrong effect. You can be generous and still look desperate. You can be kind and still feel weak. You can be attentive and still communicate fear. And fear has a scent. She can feel when you're trying to secure the outcome instead of discovering the truth. She can feel when you're speaking to connect versus speaking to control how she sees you. She can feel when your attention is a gift and when it's a transaction. That's called incongruence. Your mouth says no pressure. Your behavior says please validate me now. Your text says I understand. Your energy says don't leave. And that mismatch is what turns a man forgettable. So why do those three words hit so hard? Because they are rare. Not rare as a tactic. Rare as a reflection of actual inner stability. Most people are rushing intimacy, rushing labels, rushing chemistry, rushing the illusion of certainty, because uncertainty exposes what they have not built within themselves. When you say, take your time, and you actually mean it, you separate yourself from the noise. You show that you are not trying to capture a person. You are observing reality. You are allowing truth to breathe. That changes everything, because mature attraction is not built under pressure. It is revealed in space. Space shows interest. Space shows consistency. Space shows emotional availability. Space shows character. Without space, all you have is performance, fantasy, projection, two strangers trying to feel secure by moving too fast. That is not connection. That is anesthesia. And a lot of men use women for anesthesia without realizing it. They call it love. They call it passion. They call it chemistry. But if your whole mood depends on whether she replies, if your confidence spikes when she approves and crashes when she pulls back, if you start rearranging your standards the second she becomes distant, that is not love. That is dependence dressed up as devotion. Read that again in your mind. Dependence dressed up as devotion. This is why you keep over-talking, over-giving, over-explaining, over-checking. You are not leading with self-respect. You are negotiating against your own fear. And fear makes you loud. Self-respect makes you clear. Take your time. What does she hear when a grounded man says that? She hears that he is interested, but not enslaved. She hears that he values connection, but not at the price of his dignity. She hears that he is not threatened by pacing. He does not need immediate access to feel important. He does not need a label tomorrow to feel secure today. He can handle reality. He can handle silence. He can handle not knowing yet. And in a world full of people trying to rush each other into emotional debt, that feels powerful. Now understand this clearly. The power is not in the phrase itself. The power is in the man behind it. If a weak man says, "Take your time," it sounds like surrender. If a manipulative man says it, it sounds like strategy. If a grounded man says it, it sounds like truth. Same words, different spine. That's why the root cause matters. The reason most men can't say those three words with real weight is because they are terrified of what time reveals. Time reveals incompatibility. Time reveals inconsistency. Time reveals whether she actually values you or just likes the attention. Time reveals whether you even like her beyond attraction. Time destroys fantasy and exposes reality. And a man who is addicted to fantasy will always rush because he knows reality might disappoint him. But a mature man wants reality. He wants the truth fast, even if the relationship moves slow. He would rather know than pretend. He would rather lose the wrong woman than keep performing for the wrong outcome. He would rather stand alone in self-respect than kneel in emotional confusion. That is the shift. You stop chasing emotional highs. You start watching patterns. You stop trying to win people over. You start paying attention. You stop selling yourself. You start standing in yourself. You stop asking, "How do I keep her interested?" You start asking, "What is true here?" That is masculine clarity, not domination, not coldness, not indifference, clarity. And the cost of not learning this is brutal. You become a man who abandons himself in installments. A little standard here, a little boundary there, a little dignity there. You excuse mixed signals. You normalize anxiety. You call crumbs potential. You call confusion chemistry. You let one person's inconsistency rewrite your entire emotional state. Then you wonder why dating feels humiliating. Because you are trying to build confidence from someone else's response. That never works. Confidence built on approval is rented. It expires. Then you panic and go looking for another person to renew the lease. That is why some men repeat the same pain with different faces. Different woman, same hunger. Different date, same collapse. Different disappointment, same lesson ignored. So let's reframe this properly. The goal is not to become unforgettable by making her obsess over you. Forget that childish frame. The goal is to become so aligned with your own values that your presence feels different, clean, unforced, grounded. When you say, "Take your time," you are not casting a spell. You are communicating a standard. I am here, I am open, I am interested, but I will not drag reality into a fantasy just because I'm lonely. That lands. Now picture the man who embodies this. He does not need to posture. He does not need to dominate every room. He does not need to prove he is the prize every 5 seconds. He knows who he is before she enters the picture. He has a life that demands his energy. He has work to do, promises to keep, a body he respects, a mind he trains, a code he follows. He listens without collapsing. He speaks without performing. He can desire deeply without becoming reckless. He can care without bargaining. He can walk away without hatred. He is not hard because he is wounded. He is steady because he is disciplined. That is the man she feels, not because he is louder, because he is clearer. He doesn't flood her phone because he has no need to force momentum. He doesn't panic at a delayed response because silence does not erase his value. He doesn't over-explain his standards because they are not up for debate. He doesn't make fake promises to secure temporary closeness. He lets his actions and pacing say what insecure men try to scream. He is here. He is solid. He is not for sale. And that is rare. So what should you actually do? First, slow your mouth down. Stop talking people into a version of you that reality cannot sustain. Stop filling every gap with explanation. Stop confessing too much too early because vulnerability without discernment is not maturity. It is leakage. Second, stop rewarding inconsistency with more effort. If interest is real, it does not need to be hunted every day. If communication is one-sided, see it. If energy is mixed, believe it. If someone wants all your attention without offering clarity, step back. That's called self-respect. Third, redirect your focus to what your life feels like when no one is texting you. Build that, strengthen that, expand that. Because if your inner life is empty, dating will turn into emotional scavenging. You will keep trying to eat from every hand that offers you crumbs. Fourth, When you do care about someone, express it plainly and without drama. No performance, no pressure, no manipulation. Oh, if she needs space, say take your time and mean it, then return to your life. Do not hover. Do not punish. Do not send disguised check-ins every 6 hours. Space given with resentment is not space. It is pressure in disguise. Fifth, let time do its job. Let patterns form. Let consistency reveal itself. Let effort come toward you too. Let her show you who she is when you are not trying to manage the entire emotional environment. This is where discernment begins. This is where peace returns. And if she drifts, let her drift. If she chooses someone else, let her choose. If she cannot meet you in honesty, steadiness, and mutual effort, then her absence is not your destruction. It is your direction. Some exits are protection, some disappointments are instruction, some rejections are the rescue you were too attached to ask for. You need to hear this part carefully. A woman does not deeply respect a man who betrays himself to keep access to her. She may enjoy the attention. She may appreciate the convenience. She may even care about him. But deep respect does not grow where self-abandonment lives. Respect grows when a man's interest is sincere and his center remains intact. When he can want her without worshiping her. When he can love without losing his shape. When he can stay open without becoming available for confusion. That is why those three words linger. Not because they are magic, because they reveal emotional maturity. And maturity is unforgettable in a world addicted to urgency. Take your time. That means I am not here to pressure you. That means I am not here to sell myself. That means I am not afraid of what truth will show. That means I know my worth can survive your uncertainty. That means if this is real, it does not need to be forced. That means if this is not real, I will be fine anyway. Can you feel the difference? One man says, "Where is this going?" after 3 conversations because he is scared. Another man says, "Take your time," because he is grounded. One man chases certainty. Another creates clarity. One man tries to escape discomfort. Another uses discomfort to see what is true. Be the second man, not for effect, for peace. Because your real task is not to become unforgettable to women. Your real task is to become unignorable to yourself, to trust your own eyes again, to stop overriding your instincts just to keep hope alive, to stop treating attention like love, to stop treating chemistry like character, to stop calling emotional chaos passion. You are too grown for that, or at least you should be. There is a version of you that no longer needs to beg reality to become fantasy, a version of you that can look at mixed signals and feel calm, a version of you that can feel desire without losing judgment, a version of you that can say, "I like you," without secretly meaning, "Please complete me." That version of you is not built by tricks. It is built by standards, by silence, by discipline, by truth. So the next time you feel the urge to rush, to chase, to overmessage, to lock something down before it has earned a foundation, stop, breathe, stand up internally, say less, mean more. Let your attention become expensive again. Let your peace become non-negotiable. Let your life become full enough that you are choosing connection, not using it as pain relief. Then, if the moment calls for it, say the words. Take your time. And if she feels something shift, good. Not because you manipulated her, because for once she met a man who was not trying to consume her to avoid himself. She met a man who was anchored, a man who could hold desire and discipline in the same hand, a man who understood that self-respect is not the opposite of love. It is the foundation of it. That man is not out there somewhere. That man is the standard you either build or avoid. Build him. You are not powerless. You are not behind. You are not broken because you cared too much in the wrong way. But you do need to wake up. You do need to stop handing your identity to every romantic possibility that flatters your loneliness. You do need to become a man whose calm says more than his chasing ever could. Because in the end, the thing that changes your life is not that she can't forget you. It's that you finally remember yourself. You are the answer, not your lines, not your tactics, not her validation. You, your standards, your clarity, your discipline, your peace. That is the answer. Subscribe if you want more truth like this and fewer lies that keep you emotionally weak. Stay close to this message, stay close to this standard, and stay close to people who would rather offend your illusions than comfort your excuses. You're not alone here. You're with men who are learning to stand in truth.